Yes, indeed, we're back again. I was sorry for the other technical issue, and it was not of our own wish, but at least we're back again. I just want my guest to say hello once again. Mr. Eddie, are you visible? Do you hear me?
I am.
Loud and clear?
Very, very loud. More louder than
okay. If you're loud and clear, if you're loud and clear, allow me to say Happy New Year once again. And for the viewers, like I said in the first, encounter, I just wanted to say this is the first, show on African Reports. With you who has just joined us for the first time, African Reports is a fusion of very many areas. You find us into edutainment, you find us into infotainment, but at the end of it all, we go into all spheres. And tonight, we're into the political lenses. And the gentleman besides me here is a man who is also good in giving opinions in different directions. And today, I always love to bring him when it comes to political areas because I feel also is very suited to such areas. But for those who have just joined us, it's African Reports, and your host tonight is aka John Remy Smoggy. And just let your friends know that we're back again. Our slogan on African Reports is sharing is caring, because the more you share, we get different opinions. And you leaving a comment, actually, you're doing much, much justice to us. But also subscribing to our YouTube channel, African Reports, and also liking our African Reports page, it's such a paramount. But for now, let's just gear up and then go straight to our area of direction. Those who have just joined us, we are just dealing with the geopolitical politics of the U.S. Venezuela tensions, which may seem to be, altering the world order. But before we go ahead to allow Mr. Eddie Cool to introduce himself, let me just remind people a little bit of a preamble we've just been having by giving you a rider which you give us a sense of direction. I'll just recall it again, and then we go ahead in full gear.
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we can do things the easy way, that's fine. And if we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
If we can get rid of Saddam, it could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
They are talking about stealing the Venezuelan oil at gunpoint, for a period of time undefined as leverage to micromanage the country. I mean, the scope and insanity of that plan is absolutely stunning. So we learned a lot. I'm glad we had the briefing, but this is going to be a very, very rough ride for the United States.
All clear on my end. Clear. Moving in.
Put your hands up.
They think they can do step 1, take out Maduro, and they have no idea what steps 2 through 10 are going to be, which gives all of us a great deal of worry. I asked 4 simple questions. How many American troops are we going to send to Venezuela? They don't know. How long will we be running Venezuela? Don't know. Unknown. How much is this going to cost? We tried to pin them down. No answer. What country is next? Unknown, but I was very unsatisfied when I asked them, are they considering going into other countries? It was really troubling. And last night, when asked, Trump told Americans he's in charge of Venezuela. When asked who's in charge of Venezuela, Trump said, me. One man, no idea, no plan. Whatever pops into his head, it seems, from that briefing. So let me ask a simple question. How does spending potentially years and potentially billions of taxpayer dollars in Venezuela put America first?
Yes, the world may be seeming to be turning, it's in a turning order, but the question is at hand, in which direction? In that preamble, it's showing something very simple where one is asking, he's talking about the man Trump himself, a man of different characters, a man who just wakes up in a different direction, but still again with the tensions, because I guess he knows what he's doing. He's a leader of a great nation, and I know a nation with policies. He might be doing whatever he's doing by character, but they have intentions as to why they're doing that. But for those who've just joined us, allow me to introduce to you once again my guest, Eddie Cool Ngobi, a son of Busogaland, and a man who is full of wisdom, and in all directions you put him, you find yourself humbled well. Today, we are in Afroden Reports, political lenses, and that's why I bring him. At least we can rub shoulders by discussing areas where we feel he can add dots, and then we see how we can make ends meet. And for you, the viewers, your own responsibility is sharing your opinion, your comment. Let your friends know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then we shall make things even. Once again, Bwana Eddie Cool, you're welcome to the Afroden Reports Lenses. Our area of discussion is US-Venezuela tensions. I'll just take you straight to the point with a question. How would you summarize the current US-Venezuela relationship? And does it matter for the global politics?
I think the best way to summarize that is to look at it. Is this the first time such an incident happens? Historically, it has been happening. This is not new. And by the way, let's not only put it on Trump as an erratic man, misguided. These things have been happening for some years back. It didn't start yesterday. It's not started with Trump. In 1953, the UK and US invaded Iran. They invaded Iran. All they wanted was because of the oil. That was in 1950. From 1953, that's what we're talking about. And ever since they invaded Iran, Iran has never stabilized. Up to date, Iran is in turmoil. So these people, the leadership, there's a deep anti-Western resentment. It brought in the 1979 Islamic Revolution. There's decades of hostility, sanctions. It has never stable. It's never stabilized. But that was in 1953. We are talking about 1953. Right now, we are talking about 2026.
Indeed.
And that was US, UK. Now there was Chile, and then it was in 1973. That was the US. And the US went into attacking them just because of they wanted to control the economy. They wanted to put their market policies that are friendly to the US. And that is a big problem. Chile has never been stable again. We come a long way again to 2003. The US led into invasion of Iraq. What did they talk about? They were talking about arms of mass destructions, whatever it was. But all they wanted to do was to get rid of Saddam and then get their oil. And ever since Saddam went, Iraq has never stabilized again. We have Libya in 2011. We have Libya in 2011. The reason they went in there, they were talking about humanitarian protection. But that it was not the issue. The issue was they were threatened by Gaddafi's policies, talking about the United States of Africa. It threatened them. But ever since Libya was attacked, Libya has never stabilized again. We had the 1960s, if I don't forget, Cuba's sanction, long-term economic sanctions to force political change. But Cuba refused. And up to today, Cuba is still aligned with the Soviet Union. We have Afghanistan in 79 until recently, 21. The foreign interventions. The Americans were killed there. There were so many things happened there. They lost a lot of money. The country has never stabilized up today. Now we have Ukraine as well with Russia. Russia wants to control Ukraine. That is because of geopolitical confrontation, which is intensifying everywhere. And what this Venezuela thing is going to do is going to intensify this, and other countries are going to invade other countries. Rwanda is going to invade Congo because of the interest there. Or Uganda can invade Congo because of the interest there. The countries around there can invade those countries. So it's
Mr. Eddie, school me much in this. Do you think the attack of Venezuela, the sovereign state, this situation here, in your in your submission there, you're seeming to say, other countries are going to, attack others. Does this legitimize also the attack of, Ukraine, Russia? That's very okay now. China to Taiwan.
Absolutely.
Will it legitimize?
This is what it says. This is what it says. So
won't we fall into a trap of World War III then?
Then that is it. If other countries don't restrain themselves, it could happen. Anybody can now invade anybody and go out with it. If you did it in Venezuela, why can't I do it? Russia is doing it in Ukraine. Why can't I do it? So
where does this leave the international law?
Now there is no international law. The international law is just there to protect the Americans, the superpowers. That is all. And the very superpowers now see that the law they put in place is a hurdle to their interest. So they have to break it. And now there's no international laws are not working now. All treaties are being abused. And America has done it several times. And it's gone away with it.
Are you saying that we're heading to the jungle law?
That is exactly, I think,
where survival for the fittest is coming ideal now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be, that's what it's going to be. That's what it looks like. That a country can go, anybody can go anywhere and do whatever they want to do. Billionaire men like now this man, what is his name? The one of Starlink, what is his name? That is a Jew, is what?
Which one? The one of Tesla.
Tesla, yeah. What's his name? I'm getting his name. He's powerful. He has money. He can he can mash out mercenaries to go in a particular country and say, let's go and overthrow that government. Let that country be mine. This is what is happening now. Because you can't, there's nothing that explains what Trump did and at this time. But just it's not only this time, but they've been doing it anyway.
But initially, it was narcotics in Venezuela, which were the major target of Trump. His ideal goal was just to go, take the drugs, because in general, you've seen how the drugs have affected USA many of the times. So don't you think the cause was called for to stop whatever is happening?
Let me put it bluntly this way.
Mm.
I will relate it to the Ugandan situation. Chagulanyi, no candidate, his rallies, wherever he is militarized, full of military personnel deployed. And they're deployed, they're saying they are trying to protect chaos. But who is inciting the chaos? What chaos is there? That is a cover-up. So even whatever US did is a cover-up. Whatever they are talking about drugs, they were talking about drugs. They were talking about drugs. It's now they're talking about regime change. They're talking about oil. How do they, if they were talking about drugs, they would have just dealt with drugs and then let the country keep on running by itself. But the other day they asked Trump who is in charge. He said, I'm in charge. So it wasn't about drugs. No, that is very wrong. It's not about drugs. They create a situation, just like they created that situation. They manufacture the situation. Governments, that's what dictators do, governments, brutal fellows do. They manufacture the situation in Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction. Saddam said they have nothing. The guy said they have nothing. You people, they went, they came in, they checked, they disabled him, and in the end they came for him. They killed him. And the country has never stabilized ever since then. And by the way, to my fellow Ugandans and myself, I wouldn't want this thing to happen in Uganda. If Uganda has to do its own thing, let Ugandans take control of their own country, or their own affairs. Not a foreign country to come and intervene. Because if this foreign country comes and intervenes, we will never be able to stabilize. Because history has it. So many countries that have had foreign intervention of that kind, they've never stabilized. They've never gone back. You know, they've never had taken back control of their own countries. So
countries like Uganda, you wouldn't have loved to have a foreign, force.
No.
But for over 40 years, we failed even to manage ourselves.
It doesn't matter. We will. Let me tell you.
If the domestic is not of any impact.
I want to tell you something. The center cannot hold anymore. Things are falling apart. It's only some people who can't see. The current government is at its weakest. And you can see the way it deploys the military to go and a very simple young man without, he doesn't even move with a stick, not even with a fork. But they deploy the tankers and whatever. That tells you they're scared. And that one tells you how weak the country is, the government is. They are very weak. They fear even their own shadows. This is why you see in their campaigns, instead of talking about the 40 years and what they've done in the country, they are busy blackmailing and abusing. You can't go in and start abusing, blackmailing people, and then people want to hear, what new are you bringing for us? Because Ugandans right now, let's go to this Ugandan thing. Ugandans want a change. We wouldn't matter if Museveni himself is going to change within himself, just like butterflies do, or snakes do. And then yes. We Ugandans wouldn't mind about that. But here's a man who is like saying, no, I'm not changing. Ugandans want to change. Not necessarily that Museveni goes, but they want a change. If Museveni himself can say, look here, hey, just a minute, I'm sorry, we're taking a very wrong direction. Let's take this direction. Let me listen to Ugandans. Let me love Ugandans. Let me care for Ugandans. Let me tell you, Shagulanyi will not have a platform.
Mr. Eddie, consider me back to U.S., Venezuela, with a question where I'm looking at Trump's interest. Because now you're talking so much about, you've been hitting on the regime change. Then why did Trump need, the regime change? And who benefits from Trump. This regime change? The natives at any moment benefiting, because it's maybe seeming that Maduro was a dictator in a way. But are the natives also gaining?
I have told you, given you scenarios that happened in Iraq, scenarios that happened in Libya, scenarios which are happening elsewhere. It's not about the natives gaining. It's Americans' interests. And these American businessmen behind Trump who have been pushing him to say, look here, let's get this oil. It's the bourgeoisie in the US pushing him, yes, and they're the ones who are going to benefit. Take up oil contracts here and everywhere. You can see about here is a scenario. The issue that happened, we were talking about Zaire, Rwanda, Peace Pact, whatever it was. Do you know America came in and said, look here, we must have rights on these minerals in this country. Hello? America came in and said, we must have rights on these minerals. So that is how bad it is for the people of Venezuela. It's not about the people of Venezuela. No. It's about Trump and his clique of business fellows. Trump is a businessman. His life, he has been in business for a very long period of time. And to him, whatever, even coming for presidency, to him, he was looking at business. So he's trying to bring in his surrogates, he's bringing his allies, he's bringing some cartels who are going to comfort him to massage after he leaves the presidency. He's going to be, he will be a very big guy with a lot of money.
Yes, Bwana Eddie, online, we have one Abu Matovu.
We should sympathize with the people of Venezuela. It's true, this man has been a dictator, just as it is in Uganda. But Trump going in Uganda or going in Venezuela, we must sympathize with those people because their lives are going to be so miserable. Even the slightest basics they've been getting, they're not going to get them. You know?
Yes, Eddie. Online, we're having one Abu Matovu straight from Norway, Oslo. He's having a question here. He's saying that can someone explain how this is different to Putin's actions in Kiev? I think it's one you try to you echoed on that. It's more of legitimizing right now their actions, actually, when you look at this. But it was a question to you, please. And then he goes ahead by saying, but Russia has no hostages. So can you throw some light on this?
I think I want to thank Abu for listening, but I think he missed out something. I gave an historical perspective from coming for that happened right from 1953, you know. So it has been happening. It didn't start yesterday. So whatever happens in Kiev, it's also being legitimized by whatever is happening right now in Venezuela. It has happened elsewhere for a very long period of time. This lady, who Margaret Thatcher went to, which country is this? I'm even forgetting it. Where she went and controlled them because she wanted also to control their oil. You know, now this pattern has been going on. It's not new. It's not strange. You know, so it has been going. Putin now also says, "Fine, this has happened." Nobody, but why? Putin is apparently asking, "Why have you people been coming after me?" That's the question right now. And the question to NATO and other countries is, why have you been going after Putin? Now, who is going after America?
So the tables are changing right now.
Absolutely. And it's creating a very different alliance. Europe wants to right now to isolate the US, and especially with what is going on threatening
Denmark.
Yes. So Europe is like, okay, let's now try to be a bloc of our own. You know, this one is going to it could create a new world order to bring in other superpowers. China is also to talk about Taiwan. Now, if you people are doing this, now let me just overrun Taiwan tomorrow. I don't know if you're getting the scenario. These things happen that way. You know.
So where does this of recent we've been having Uganda was represented by the vice president. Kagame was in the US. Congo was there, and they are having agreements with Trump on that in the issues of the minerals and then stopping, you know, the terrorism which is really happening back in Congo. So where does this also give a statement, or does it give a leeway to and right now the likes of Congo also to do whatever they want?
It gives a leeway to Kagame to overrun whatever areas he wants to in Congo. Because America now does not have the audacity to come and question, why are you doing this? Even what is really stunning is they've just signed the contract recently. You know, very recent. But right now, that contract was about sharing how they're going to share the minerals. Rwanda has been growing very fast because of the minerals it's been getting from Zaire. Don't think Rwanda is going to give up very fast. And you see, Rwanda has Rwandese, those who are called, they call them the Interahamwes, who are in Zaire. They've been there for years, you know, and they want to control areas where they are. They also want power. You ask yourself a question: where did Rwanda get the money that has developed it so fast as it is?
Indeed, yeah.
Where? So these things are all about money. It's about resources. You know, it's ideology and resources that are shaping the global world order, apparently. So America went into Venezuela because of resources and because of the ideology.
Yes, Bwana Eddie, I want to look at now the international bodies which are really entitled look at this issue vigorously. The UN, what's its role in this? Of recent, there was a General Assembly, the UN General Assembly, and braggantly, Trump, at least he tried, you know, to belittle the leaders there in a way, and then he tried to show the mighty of USA, claiming that there was nothing they could do on certain things. So does this justify what USA is doing? I want to align this with the question of Mr. Abu, where he's also looking at the area of interest, where he's saying that your honest views about you and African Union are they
Yes, Abu is right. Abu mu answer mwakola ki mwazanyira. That is true. Mbwaza mugagga. Those ones are just scarecrows. They're just there. Chigumaza. That we have ABC, we have ABC, we have ABC, but we have nothing. And we have seen it. You know? The UN, where does the UN sit? Where are its headquarters? Ask yourself that question. Where are its headquarters? Not long ago, let me try to change this thing. After all, Abu also knows what he must be knowing what I'm going to bring in. In Uganda, this woman, lady of human rights, what's her name?
Sarah.
No. Forget about Sarah. There's another one.
Oh, yeah, there is a. I'm forgetting the name.
Wangadia, yeah. Wangadia was like, you people, what you are doing is bad. Leave Chagulanyi Israelis. Don't do this. Why are you deploying military? Why don't you do this and that? Okay? When the Samuel Secretary of Operatives went for a meeting with her, she came out with a statement. And the statement was very different. This time, warning Chagulanyi and his gang. So, this is the same happens to the UN. The UN is powerless. It's just there. There are certain things that are lacking. One, America decided to think that it's going to control. If the offices of the UN would have been going from one place to another, even the leaders have a way of changing, that would have been different. But right now, the UN offices sit in the US. They threaten you anytime. They tell you, they deport you. They tell you leave. They do so many things. You know. So we go and sit with them and think we have protection, but the protection is not there. That is how those things are. Abu webalenya akantu ako. But this I was not even having it. That phrase is true. Yes,
Bwana Eddie. It's quite interesting. So, what's your reading on the Latin America at large? You know these other countries, because one may believe that Venezuela is becoming, a guinea pig for, some a trial for what USA can be doing. So where does it leave these other countries, the likes of the Cuba, Mexico,
they're scared.
Colombia, which are almost aligned into the same, area? Where does it leave? What's their position?
They are scared. They are worried. That's the answer. They are worried. They are scared. It's just like seeing these other what's called drones coming to pick your neighbor. If you've been talking, tomorrow you'll keep quiet. Because the drone, if you keep on talking, the drone will come for you. Now, these countries are also now looking like, okay, let's align with the US. Because if we don't align with the US, we could be the next target. They are looking for security. Most of these countries now, they are looking for security. Where is security? None of those countries can stand up and say no to America. Not right now. Others are just quiet, simply quiet, and saying nothing, as if nothing happened.
Where does it leave now? Russia and US have greater interest in Venezuela. Of recent,
Yes.
and even just signed contracts, oil deals. Where does this leave them? Russia and USA.
It leaves them.
Russia and China.
No, to them they are continuing with their businesses, and now they want to try to. It ups their game in colonizing whatever they want to colonize as well. It ups their game because you can't come and question me when you just did it there. This way, I told you Taiwan must be very, very worried. Taiwan must be very, very worried. Russia is saying, okay, we're going to push on hard. It tried to guard Venezuela to Caracas, but it failed. So where does it leave them? They're also going to pounce on whoever they want. If they want to pounce on Toure, they will go and pounce on him and say, you people, Africa, you people are doing this, we want this. So there is a lot of confusion. The world must be very, very worried.
In this confusion, where does it leave now the BRICS?
They're also worried. They are very, very much worried. They are very much worried. They are talking about if you go and do that in that place, so go and do it. Go and pick Netanyahu. That's what they've been talking to their parliament. Everybody was saying, why don't you pick Netanyahu as well? If you picked this man because he was terrorizing these people, he was brutalizing these people, he was doing drugs, was doing this and that, go and pick Netanyahu as well. Why don't you pick him? Now, but you see, like I said, it's all about security. People are very funny. They will look at where they can secure themselves. They will align with whoever can secure them. They cannot say that let them go hard on and attack the US. Mm-hmm. No, they can't. If they go on to attack the US, they'll end up like Sarah Virete. That's what is happening. This one gives you a very good reflection on quite a number of things, even what is happening in Uganda. Those who talk, you talk on the headliner, you'll end up in Luzira, or you'll end up being kidnapped in somebody's basement. It doesn't matter who you are. Mm-hmm. So this is what it's also being reflected on world order.
Eddie, talking of the world order, I want to play for you a little clip here, and then you give me your take on it. I guess it will give me the perception of what is on stake of the African leaders, because at the end of it all, when these two great powers are in a situation, when I'm talking about the great powers, I'm talking about Russia, because this situation is an area of interest of Russia and China. Venezuela is just, a guinea pig, a battlefield for this. So my worry was about where does it leave Africa at this situation when it comes to world order in terms of political side and then economic. But let's have this little clip and then you write your argument on this.
The Americans are saying that some of the Latin Americans are sending drugs to the U.S. But whatever the case, we shall find out, we shall learn more. But whatever the case is, you can see the gaps, which I'm telling you about. Because the Americans are operating from 4 dimensions. They're operating from sea, they're in the sea. The Latin Americans are not there. They don't have a navy. Then they can come with air force, and then space. They're in space. Now they are trying to come on land, which of course is very risky also for the Americans. There you come near, because even me, who has got a short range, I can harm you. But there you are at an advantage. You are seeing me in space. I'm not seeing you. You are in the ocean. I'm not there. I'm here. So this is what we are talking about. That the Africans, because of that was our target in 1963. And Marimu was going to move, but Kenyatta and Obote decided to remain big fishes in small ponds. Some people like that. When you're a big fish in a small pond, you feel very, very big. But when trouble comes, you may not survive. So, the issue of the strategic security of Africa is very crucial. East African Federation, I'm glad the East African leaders have never given up. Even when we were last in Arusha, they appointed me as an advocate for the Federation, so that we are able to unite our land space, unite our sea space, have more resources to be able to build capacity in the 4 dimensions: on land, at sea, in the air, and in the space. Good space. What's good space? We can't remain here when other people are in space and you think we are clever. Dancing and watching European football clubs. It's very, very risky for you people.
Yes, so the question of USA-Venezuela tensions really is calling upon very many people to also have a reflection on whatever is happening in Africa, represented by His Excellency of the Republic of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni. He's also worried, and his resolution here is looking at unity and joining these blocks as an area of interest, so that we can avoid being fished by these strong powers. And slightly is also advocating to strengthen our military might such that we can also occupy other areas. He claims that he's very powerful when it comes to land. Come on one-on-one, he will show you the glory of Ugandan UPDF. That aside, I go back to Eddie Cool. Given that video, you've also heard in Ibrahim Traoré, who was also almost being taken just of recent, but then he found out the traitors and they're being managed for now. But question is here, the US Venezuela Flux, where does it leave the third world countries? Case in point, Africa. Economically, politically.
I've listened to what President Museveni is talking about Venezuela. But the issue here is being very, very selfish. To him, he's looking at himself as his power, he's not looking at a nation. If we look, and whoever gets so much worried about the Venezuela-US relationship, or this thing that happened, here is the thing: if the country is together, if the leadership for the people is good, and all is going on well within the country, democracy is there, the people are enjoying basics, whatever. No, hello, yeah, you're out. Yeah, it will depend on how things work. It's only because these dictators, they want hello, you're out. Look, I can see.
Okay, let's just have a little commercial break. Then
what happens is this: when a country is at peace with its people, there is no foreigners or foreign interference that can manage. The Americans managed to go into
Venezuela.
Yes, because there are so many dissidents in Venezuela itself that were created by
domestically.
Absolutely,
they were
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Now Museveni is talking about is Uganda. Uganda today is the weakest country because his government is anti-people. If we ever got attacked, let me tell you, Ugandans will cooperate with the attackers. Right now. Unlike before, you saw what happened in Luero when they were fighting. Because people want security. Right now, they don't see security in their own country. That is what happened in Venezuela.
So should we say that US always goes for countries where, there is conflicts domestically back home, and then it goes for...
No, not only US, any country can do that.
Taking advantage of a situation.
Absolutely. It was
where the government is not aligning well with the natives.
Taking advantage of the situation, yes. But if the situation is being held together, no foreign forces can even come and bother. No, whether up and air and whatever they're talking about, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't. You'll just come in and destroy the entire place, just like they did in Palestine. You saw what happened in Palestine. The Palestinians are together. So you either come and destroy the entire country, and the Ugandans will fight you. No Uganda will accept foreign intrusion. Or any other country will not. But if they don't have that security from their own country, they'll look for security elsewhere. So President Museveni's comments, you look at just like so many other African countries, they are talking about building a collusion and defense system of Africans. Why don't they build a collusion, a democratic collusion that monitors the government to see that the people of the African people are democratically led or are peacefully living into their countries? Why? What does AU normally discuss when they sit together? Do they ever discuss anything about economic values in Africa? Do they ever discuss about the health system of Africans? Do they discuss ever anything about the education? It was only Gaddafi who had come in and discussed the economic issues. He said, we must empower ourselves economically. And that's why he was taken down. These people never discuss those things. Mr. Museveni talks about regional markets here and there, but he just talks about it. He doesn't go for it. It's because he's looking for other things altogether. He's on his own security. When he goes into Zaire, he goes into Rwanda, he goes into Somalia, whatever it is, he's not going into for regional stability. No. You see? But Africans would sit together and say, look here, we are, and by the way, you cannot give what you don't have.
Indeed.
Yes. You can't give what you don't have. You can't.
Yes.
Let me pose a question here. The massacre that took place in Kasese, those people were helpless. They didn't have guns. They have nothing. But that massacre was there.
True.
So are we telling Ugandans also everywhere should build their own armies? You know? The massacre that happened in the Kasese in broad daylight. What can explain that? Yeah? The beatings of Bobby Wine and his whatever entourage when they're going for rallies and whatever. What explains that? I think President Museveni's whatever he's trying to say would make sense if he was practicing it at home. But what America did, and that's what Museveni does himself as well.
Yes, Bana Eddie, bring me back into conversation when it comes to Venezuela. You're looking at a country which is the greatest when it comes to oil supply in the world globally. And Africa depends so much onto, oil or petroleum from foreign countries. So economically, do we find Africa at stake in this scuffle?
No, I think Africa should take an advantage. Let's not try to be we should always look elsewhere for a way of solving our own problems.
Okay.
Africa can develop without so many other countries by itself. What Africa wants is only governance. That is all. If Africa reflects, we will not need to go and get oil in Venezuela. We have oil in Africa. There's oil in Uganda. There's oil in Nigeria. There's oil in Somalia. There's oil in so many places in Africa. That oil can be used in Africa. There is gold. You have minerals. These people here in Brussels, their business is the biggest market for gold, as if they have gold mines there. They have mining gold. Why don't we turn that into an African thing? For me, that is my biggest problem. It's not because I don't want my president or I don't want. It's the policies that our presidents have in place. They come with good intention. They tell you so many good things, but in the end, they do other things. Today, it's survival. The man has his own army. He said he's building a professional army. He was personalizing the army. He said, the police is all from one village, as you can look at it. Bobby Wine has been saying it all the time. Now, you got offices. No, I'm telling you, you got offices. Osangayo kumpi abantu beba mwawo. You know, politics, leaders, the man, ebintu yabyonoona n'aleeta abavuzi b'ebigaali to be in parliament to discuss police national issues. Yeah? You know, when I talk about these things, bimpisa bubi oleeta otya omuvuzi w'ekigaali agende nti yatuula mu parliament to discuss the national issues. N'oleeta omukazi yali afumba amalwa nti kati ye speaker wa parliament. Kuba n'ebigambo byayogera n'engeri talina integrity, omuntu atalina kitiibwa kyonna kyonna anayota nti ekigambo kye ngenda okwogera banaakiraba batya n'abaana bange eka. Kuba we have children, we must be role models for our own families, our own children. Ebintu bye twogera bimatalinga. I see people on the internet, I see even the policemen who are beating up people. I ask myself, this guy is going to be seen on TV. When he goes back home, will the child say, hey, Daddy, thank you for beating those people. Daddy, thank you for beating those people. Do you think the child will say that? When she goes to school with the children of the man you are beating?
And they did not.
Do you think a child will want to be Anita Mom? One, she's a kind of person. Herself, she's very insecure. She decided to color herself, call it Carolite, whatever it is. That alone is a very, very big mistake she did. And she can never reverse it. That is one thing. Two, whatever she does, she's not only too greedy, but she has no respect for others. And to her, she thinks Yatuka, these are the John come lately. Yatuka Yamalakon. And she forgets there were people like Mbabas who was a super minister.
Yes,
no, wait, listen. This amassed a lot of wealth. Where did she get it from?
Since it didn't come from Venezuela, take me back to Venezuela.
No, we are relating situations. That what happened in Venezuela can happen in Uganda. If the people of Uganda are not holding together, any foreign invasion is possible. Any military strategist will tell you that. Not only any military strategist, but any decent person who has been following current affairs will tell you.
Wherever they find loopholes,
yeah, they will use it.
They will take advantage of that.
Yes, they will take advantage. It's just like us as a normal being in our health system. Any slightest illness, try and kindly deal with it immediately. Because some other illness will come in immediately and find those weaknesses in your body. They will take you up. Today we have people who have been living with AIDS, HIV for 60 years. They are still living because they've been able to manage their lives. And those who have not been able to manage their lives, just a small flu, they are gone. Indeed. So it also relates to nations. It also relates to governments. If Venezuela was in leadership of its own country, not a clique, let me tell you, these Americans, just like the way Museveni put it, they wouldn't manage to come in, but they penetrated the system because they had some generals there who were collaborating. They had some people who were collaborating, soldiers, people in government who were collaborating, giving them everything. Who gave them the architecture of the house where this man was staying?
He was betrayed.
Absolutely. This is what my president Museveni would have talked about, that Africans, let's change our leadership. Because security starts with the nation itself, not the guns that you have. Let me tell you, if a foreign force come and invade a country that is united, it can't manage. It can't. This is why you see they've been having problems Russia has been having problems in Ukraine. They would have run Ukraine long time ago.
Because Ukraine is still having the spirit of nationalism in them.
Absolutely. That is the absolute. The spirit of
might someone have the same concept that the reason as to why the US failed in Vietnam was the same concept.
Yes, of course.
Same situation also in Somalia.
Yes, same situation in Somalia.
Same situation also in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, yes. Because the people have what they call national. You've used the word, very right word that I'm not talking about. Nationalism.
Yes, Abana Eddie, what's your reading on Trump's statement? He says that in a statement by Trump, he says that Venezuela will bring over between 30 to 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the US, of which they'll have, to split it into two. USA has to benefit at the same time Venezuela. What's your reading when it comes to that?
It was the reason they went to attack it. You don't have to ask so many questions. Because this oil the oil has been
having said that, let's have just a commercial break, then we switch over to this situation, how it's switching gears to go to a scarf of Denmark, Greenland, and the main man still in play is still Trump. But let's just have a little commercial break, and then we come back in gear number 2, and then we see how we are going to deal with Trump he puts threats on a European, landscape, and his trigger is Denmark, which has also another control over Greenland. But let's have a little commercial break, and then we come back.
In the heart of Uganda is an institute designed to prepare students for rewarding careers in the vibrant hospitality industry. Copenhagen International Institute of Catering and Hotel Management is here to provide a solid foundation for Ugandans in catering, hotel management, knowledge and skills required to excel in various hospitality sectors. Our courses are designed by industry professionals to ensure that students learn from the best to create well-rounded graduates. We offer practical training and internships to students using state-of-the-art equipment which is used all over the world to prepare our learners for jobs both locally and internationally. We are located in Kisasi on Bahai Road, 8.7 kilometers from Kampala city center. Copenhagen International Institute of Catering and Hotel Management.
Indeed, that's Copenhagen International Institution, which deals with catering and management in Kisasi, Kampala. An inspiration got from Copenhagen catering, hotel and management in Valby here in Copenhagen, Denmark. One CEO, Wajala Joseph, just decided to take whatever he got from here, and then he took the institution also to Uganda, where Ugandans are actually benefiting, and is empowering education at the same time a source of employment to those who can access the institution in terms of employment. That aside, we're crossing gears to Europe here, where also it's on tensions of Trump. We're looking at Trump, like we said. Venezuela seemed to be a guinea pig for Trump to see how we can re-strategize on other areas, of which still it's not easy just to penetrate certain areas. Europe, small as it may look, but it's powerful in a way, economically and politically, strategically, is still needed by the US. Otherwise, Mr. Eddie has been echoing on issues connected to it's being, very hard to penetrate a country which has a spirit of nationalism. Last week we were talking about patriotism. But Europe is another area where all these small countries align well with their governments, of which I think Trump may have lots of problems to interfere or interface with Greenland. Let's have a little bit of a rider on this issue, and then Eddie Cool will give us his take on Trump's interest in Greenland and the take of Denmark and Europe at large and its impact. Let's have this, and then we'll come back.
They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money. They have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. We need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it.
As the Trump administration appeared to warm to the idea of annexing Greenland, the Danish Prime Minister sharpened her rhetoric.
We saw
the U.S. take control of Venezuela in just a few hours. What will Denmark do if the Americans do something similar?
Well, if the US chooses to attack another NATO country, then everything stops. I can't account for what the Americans do, but I can account for what we do from the Danish and European side. And of course, there is full support from the rest of Europe when it comes to the kingdom and the Danish realm, that the borders must, of course, be respected.
The diplomatic spat between the two NATO allies was reopened by this tweet of Greenland filled in with the US flag and the word soon. The image was posted by the wife of the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. But on Sunday, Donald Trump doubled down on the theme.
Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
Semi-autonomous Greenland is on the shortest route for missiles between Russia and the United States, and Washington has a military base there. The Arctic territory is also rich in rare earth minerals. Denmark says it's already working with Washington to boost security in the Arctic. And Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen has also told Trump to back off.
The future of Greenland and Denmark are decided solely by the people of Denmark. In Greenland, we know that. It's why we cooperate, as I said at the start, and I'll finish here, why we cooperate culturally, why we cooperate economically, and why we cooperate in security.
I really appreciate your strong support. I think we are both very into securing the Arctic region, and together with other NATO allies, we can secure the region. So hopefully everybody is willing to work together, and I think you are a very good friend, a very close ally to not only Denmark but Europe. So.
Denmark recalls the foundational principle of international law that forbids states from threatening or using force against another state's territorial integrity and political independence. This imperative is enshrined in Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the UN Charter. Members of the UN Security Council have a special responsibility to uphold these principles. The principles of sovereignty, political independence, and territorial integrity must be respected. The inviolability of borders is not up for negotiation. These are universal, sacrosanct principles enshrined in international law. They apply everywhere.
During the Cold War, American commanders ordered that military bases should be built across Greenland. In fact, more than 50 were built. Now only one remains, and the rest, like this one, was simply abandoned.
Amongst it all, more than 200,000 fuel drums. Many were full when they were left, leaching out their toxic contents. The base was actually constructed in the Second World War, but continued operation into a time when the Soviet Union and the United States were standing toe-to-toe. When it was eventually decommissioned, the abandonment was total. You know, this is really quite shocking. You've got to remember that this is in the heart of this pristine wilderness, what is a wonderful environment, and yet all of this has just effectively been dumped here. And if you think this is bad, there's a lot worse on the other side of Greenland, where a huge US base was built into the ice cap, and that one was powered by a nuclear reactor. But it soon became obvious the shifting Greenland ice sheet made the site dangerously unstable, and it was abandoned in 1967.
If one asks some little question, was once America into Greenland? The answer is yes, as you've seen. Yes, America used Greenland at some moment as a strategic area when it was way back into the intervention of, when it was involved in the World War II and World War One, way back, but still again under, the leeway of Denmark. Under the request of Denmark, it was there. At some moment, USA wanted to buy that island of Greenland, but still Denmark has the capability to manage economically and strategically, can handle the relationship between the two, of which you see also the Prime Minister of Greenland, he says Trump should back off. But like I've been echoing on areas, Greenland is really an area. Economically, it's powerful because of its minerals, which have not properly been extracted, but it's a lot. When you look at the lines, too much minerals, oil, and the like are in Greenland. And then Trump says he's coming here for, security lines. He claims Russia, China are still there. But my worry is, why would Denmark also claim a threat if Russia and China are in there? My answer is as good as yours. But let's get a clarity from Bwana Eddie, and we take his read when it comes to Greenland question. So Bwana Eddie, the man himself, Trump, comes in after doing injustice to Venezuela. Then he looks at Greenland as another area of strategy where he can also look at the economic might that side, hiding in security areas. What's your reading on this?
Yeah, just like it's a direct thing. It's a direct explanation here. Trump is a businessman. He's only going in for business interests, and they want to go and control the wealth of Greenland. But his problem here, this is not going to be like as easy as it was in Venezuela. Here he's talking about Europe. Denmark, we're not talking about only Denmark, we're talking about Europe, we are talking about NATO. No country can come and attack one country here and the rest will only look on. So now Trump must do a deep analysis on how he's going to deal with this situation. Because right now, NATO is together, Europe is together.
But is Denmark safe?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. Denmark is very safe. He cannot dare. Because if he dare, then he surveys all relationships with Europe, which he can't do that. That's what, like I told you, if you cannot attack a country when a country is united, you can't manage it. So Europe is united. And Trump's action to Venezuela have solidified the what? The bond of these countries. Every country here in Europe now is speaking on one voice. Trump must not do that. That is
talk about the same area, because I've just been reading that Norway, Sweden, they just put that those threats on Denmark, they are calling for us to join. German is aligned still in the same is in the same dockage. We're looking at Ukraine also led a statement that attacking Denmark, you're attacking us all.
Yes.
It's surprising. Britain is also part of it, and Germany itself has also released a statement. We're still looking at France, which is not totally giving us what we need, but I think what you're zeroing on is really good. That it's seeming that the spirit of nationalism or the unit in Europe is really solid. So I give you back your flow, the flow symbol.
No, yeah, so that is what it is. He would have done it even a long time, even before the Venezuela issue. You know, but because he has those stumbling block, Europe is a stumbling block, so they can't manage. You know, it's giving them trouble. So that one, just like I would rather say what President Museveni was talking about. If Africa unites, nobody can come and touch any African country.
True, yeah.
If Africa unites, but we are not united. Gaddafi was taken away by using Africans themselves.
Indeed.
You know, so if Africa can unite, like what Museveni is talking about, they unite, but with a purpose, not to unite, to promote dictators. You know, if they unite with the purpose of developing Africa, let me tell you, no country, Africa is going to be a superpower of its own. You know, we have everything that we need. So this is reflected here. Now, South America is not united as Europe is. That's why they had to go and take on Venezuela. But if South America was united, I'm telling you, they would not have gone there. You know, but they based in some place. Yes, they would not. Now that is the problem we have. Attacking Iran here, what has been happening in Iran is because the Arab countries are not united. If there is a united Arab country, even Palestine would be safe. But they are not united.
Indeed.
They took away Saddam because Middle East was not united. So they use us. And that is what we should look at. But the biggest question is, what can unite us? You know, what can unite these countries? If you have a dictator in the other country, you have a Democrat in the other country, you have a murderer in the other country, can all these three come together really? And even if they came together, do they hold the countries together? No. But if we come up with the African nationalism, they used to call it Pan-Africanism, but those are just rhetorics. They're not into practice. They're not into practice. Yes. We would have a Pan-Africanism. We do everything to be African. Anything African, let it be African. Even the languages will change. Let business change to be African. Whatever we do, let us be focusing on Africa. Develop our hospitals, develop infrastructures, develop our own things. Who would be looking at flying a visa to go to the US? Let me tell you, before Gaddafi was taken away, it was very rare to find a Libyan in any European country.
Indeed, yeah.
Because they had everything that they wanted. And it also used to happen with the Egyptians. You wouldn't find the Egyptians anywhere just like that. One time, actually, I was in some university, and I met an Egyptian. I said, hey, from Egypt. He said, yes. And he said, I'm coming and we went for a little bit of honeymoon. We just had a wedding with my wife, and that is all. We are going back in 2 days. These people never move because their countries could manage. And that one gave them security as well. But you cannot have security when the country itself, internal relationship, is not together. That's why I'm so worried that today Uganda is very vulnerable. Today Uganda is very vulnerable. We say we have the army. That army alone can't do anything. It's the people.
Yes, Bwana Eddie, for the viewers, before I just a minute before, for the viewers, if you really want to contribute in this discussion, we're only having some few minutes. You can go for this number. It's +45 60 90 20 32. It's a WhatsApp number. If you feel you want to engage, you can also try to call that number direct, then we'll get your opinion. But that said, I think we're learning too much. I would love to the last minutes to cross over to a little bit to a question of Uganda, where my brother, I want him to give me his summary on what he has seen briefly onto this campaign trail, which has been really happening in Uganda. And then also he gives us his prediction on exactly what might happen. And then at least we shall be calling it a wrap. But for those who feel like contributing into this discussion, the number is just very visible and very cool. A lot has been happening in Uganda, and then crossing over from US, Venezuela tensions. I would love to also to pick your side when it comes to what has been really happening briefly, and then your greatest area of interest politically in the year 2025. I'm giving you only 2 areas. How you've seen this campaign, a statement you can give, and then, in a nutshell, a wrap-up of how you saw 2025 in Uganda politically.
Now,
Your take.
Uganda is an open book.
Mm.
We've been into leadership, uninterrupted leadership for 40 years. With a leadership that turned into a dictatorship, it turned into a family rule. A leadership that has been oppressing nationals. A leadership that has not been doing any service to improve the welfare of nationals. A leadership that has been concentrating on their survival, to build security, to amass wealth. A greedy, there was a book actually called A Greedy whatever. A greedy family, which think everything in Uganda should belong to them. Now, where does it leave Ugandans? Here comes in a young man who everybody has been overlooking, but a very well-structured fellow from the ghetto. It has given us a lot to learn. That is not where somebody comes from that matters. It's what that person is and what he has been going through. Where somebody comes from normally is just geographical. You know, and some things are also just circumstantial. If you remember very well, some years ago in Uganda, we had schools like Kachonga.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if you remember those schools.
I know those schools. Yeah.
We have the St. Joseph. There was schools in Masaka. They were competing with Chibuli, with Kisubi, Namiriango.
The word the Chitovu, Kasasa.
Yes.
St. Henry's. Yeah.
Yes. You know. So here is a situation whereby you find that somebody who was not living in corridor was living in the ghetto, but he has been building up himself, his capacity, and understanding the basics of life. I want to tell you that people who have grown on the soil know a lot more of the problems than the person who has grown in skyscrapers in London or in Kololo, because they don't know anything. Today, you can't tell me somebody who was born eating. He was somewhere eating some sausages. He went and stayed in State House for all his life. Knows Uganda's problems and is going to solve them. Even organizing the people, even understanding the people. But here we have Robert Kyagulanyi, who comes out from nothing. And let me tell you, history, we are going to study about Kyagulanyi. It's going to be a course. Robert Kyagulanyi. Because it's worth it. It has shown. You know. Is
it because he's trying to change the status quo?
His organization capabilities. And then the focus. He's very, very well focused. When he came in at the first time, he went into parliament. He didn't stay long. He went for the real office because he knew that's where the problems are. And when he went for the real office, things didn't work out. He said, no, I'll give it another try. But here are some people he came with from the start, whom we used to call heavyweights. He brushed them off. He said, no, I don't care about you being a heavyweight. It's about discipline. It's about focus. Because most of those we call heavyweight politicians in Uganda, they are enablers. They are regime enablers. That's very obvious. The regime enablers. See this woman who was in FDC yesterday. Today she's a loudspeaker of everything in NRM. And she's at the top. But it was only yesterday she was in FDC. Even the deputy himself. And see how they're mismanaging how they've messed up the August House. Now, some politicians there are just there as regime enablers. They also want to survive. But here, this man is saying, we want change. And this change must be for Uganda, not for me. You know, this is why he's willing to work with whoever can listen and whoever can work with him. He's been mentoring politicians. He opened up a school, a political school. Not to indoctrinate, but to educate. To open up. They've been training in Kamboja. Not the Chankwans where they tell you it's only Museveni, it's only this, it's only this. No, he's telling them, teaching them about leadership. You know? And he has been very resolute. He is saying, look here, this is what we want, and we're going for it, no matter what. He has been given a lot of money, but he has refused it. At this point, where you see the terrorism, the beatings, the arrests, the killing, but he's saying, no, let's focus. He had some others who are already eating with the devil. Some others who were pretending. He opened up. He showed us that these so-called heavyweights they are heavyweights in enabling keeping us into this desperate situation. You know, he has united the country. He's uniting the country. People are coming up in very, very large numbers. Let me tell you what is going on in the country. Many people, not everybody you are seeing on the street is the only one. Some people are just silent. They are waiting for the day to go and cast their vote. They're waiting for the day to go and protect that vote. Because they've seen what is going on. The intimidation of the police, they are harassing them. They've understood the game plan of this man. The abductions, the whatever. Others are saying, okay, let's wait. katulindeko olunaku luli. You know, the entire country has united. Everywhere he has gone, he has organic response. And these people are not coming to him just because he's a celebrity, as somebody used to say. Of course, celebrity gave him a platform. Yes, that's number one. But because of the need, because of the problems the country is facing. And this is very painful when a president comes up on a national address and he doesn't address them. He starts saying these people are being ferried.
Bwana Eddie, last week I had a discussion with Mutesa, and this is what he described on these campaigns. He said, looking at issues, these are two entities we're only seeing. We are seeing only NUP and NRM. But then with NUP, it seems to be it's a transformational party in these campaigns, whereas NRM is seeming to be a transactional and reactional party. How far true is that statement from that gentleman?
No, he's right. NRM is all about transaction. They are using a lot of money to buy politicians. They've used a lot of money in this campaign, very little. And look here, it started in its own NRM primaries.
But to win power, I thought you can use whatever means it costs. If it calls for money, use it.
But
if it calls for brutality, they're using the strategy.
Then here is the thing. After 40 years, you'd be talking about what you've done for the people. Not going to invade the Bank of Uganda to get money. Go to the people and tell them, you people, we have done this and that. Instead of deploying the military to go and beat up people. What's the business of this military guys going out to beat up people? It's transactional. There's coercion. NRM has a particular tenets it uses. One, there's persuasion. Then there's a coercion. And then there's that terrorism thing where they come and terrorize you.
Would one be wrong? Would one be wrong if he states that NOPE is setting the pace and then in making NRM to be a reactionary party?
It did. Chagulanyi has set the pace. This way, have you listened to what Museveni speaks at the Anita Mongos when they go on the campaign? They react to what Bobi Wine has said. They react to the crowds that Bobi Wine is speaking. They don't talk about the issues that affect the common person, the issues that they are going to do. No. Have you heard Anita Mong talking about Parliament doing what they have in Parliament, what they've been doing and what they're going to do? She's busy talking like a Marwa spokesperson. You know, Kulanga Marwa here and there. We gave numbers this money, we gave so and so, Museveni allowed, as if it's Museveni's money. That's not Museveni's money, that's our money.
You're claiming it's your money. You're in the diaspora, Mr. Eddie. You're the noisemakers in the diaspora. We are coming to these elections. What's the contribution of the likes of you who are not going to vote, but you're in the diaspora? What's your contribution on this? Prepare or give a message.
I have
for one who's going to vote next week.
I have a family in Uganda.
As one who is in the diaspora.
I have a family in Uganda because basically by default I'm a Ugandan. I send their money, and that money is taxed. So when I say it's my money that they're using. I want you to mark that word. That money is taxed. And anything I have in Uganda, even a decoder, is taxed. I have to pay for it. Television decoder. When I send money by mobile money, it's taxed. So it's my money that they're using. I'm telling my people, and I'm calling them. Actually, this weekend, I'm going to be very busy making calls to tell my people what to do. They must vote for change. And voting for change, if it's voting Chagulani, let them vote Chagulani and every umbrella. And here is where we have a problem. If you want to change, who amongst the two leading candidates is change? It's Chagulani. That is the only person everybody will be focusing. And he's very, very smart. He's putting Ugandans together. Because this 40 years rule is going to end into a dynasty. The next into presidency is the son. The son has been over everywhere telling people after my father, there will be no civilian person to be president. Where did he get the audacity to say that? Today the son is a general in the army. But there were some other generals. Where are the Bush War generals? Where are they? Where are the Bush War generals right now? You know, what are they doing? Where are those who fought in the war? Where are they? How are their lives? How are they living?
What's your prediction on the coming elections next week? What are your anticipation? What are your thoughts? What's really read the mind of the viewers or the situation?
The situation is,
what are we expecting next week?
Let's go out in large numbers and overwhelm. They are planning a lot of things. One, to threaten people so that people don't go out to vote in numbers. To threaten people not to guard their votes. To threaten people not to demand the votes. But let's go in overwhelming numbers. Former President General Idi Amin, Field Marshal Idi Amin Dada, told boxers, I think it was in Kakindo, wherever, I don't remember. He told our boxers, they box and then they say that, sir, we were cheated, they did this and that.
Those who are going for Olympics.
Yes. Then he told them, no, that is wrong. What you are saying is wrong. Just go for a knockout. Go and beat the man thoroughly. That he will not have anything even to do what? To cheat. Now, if Ugandans go out in overwhelming numbers and they vote, let me tell you,
there won't be excuses.
There will be no excuse. But if we go small, we are 49 million. In those 49 million, about 20 million can vote. Or even 25. Let all the 25 millions go and vote.
Yes, and next week we shall be having elections in Uganda, and that will be the 15th. And I guess we shall be coming also with an episode where we shall be looking at situations. I think we shall be coming back with Eddie Cool, and then we see what might have taken place, and then we give also a perception as we keep on, looking at what is really going ahead with the political alignment of Uganda, and then we see the way forward. But going back to our area of discussion today, we've been looking at the geopolitics of U.S.-Venezuela tensions altering the world order, of which, if you've been picking some nuggets from Bwana Eddie in our discussion, at least you've seen the angle or the path he has taken, which actually shows that the world is not really stable right now. Things are upside down. The direction we're taking, only God knows. But we just pray hard that we don't go into world war or areas that are going to, put us totally down to the extent that we are losing lives or economically going totally down, because this affects all the innocent people because of the greed of some few people. But given this, I would love also to say that I've been schooled by Eddie Cool. I've been noting down a little bit in my area of interests. I'm just seeing that from his way of looking at issues, whether we like it or not, area countries to lose, he echoed. I mean, who is to lose in this area? I'm seeing, yes, already the president has lost. Maduro, because of his policies of governance, style of governance, he was uprooted from Venezuela, taken to the US, Russia, China, India, who have been benefiting in Eddie Cool's way of looking at issues. They are still going to be benefiting from Venezuela, even though the tables somehow might change. International law, Eddie Cool has said it's dying a natural death. And then when it comes to Latin America and the regions around, it's in a sorry state at this moment because of these areas. When it comes to Africa, it's really alarming when you hear the words from Eddie Cool. I don't know what God did to Africans. But all in all, unit is called for, and then if you have the spirit of nationalism, at least we shall be able to avoid a lot, like the way Europe is doing. Question of Greenland is an area where USA is very sensitive, like the way it's very sensitive to attack Brazil and Mexico. It knows why it's not actually attacking those areas. But given that discussion, I would love also to thank the viewers for the mighty work of always being with us, those who have contributed with us, Wanabu, and those who are on our YouTube channel, African Reports, Facebook page, Chile Uganda page. You guys are really doing great work. But I can't leave my guest here, who is always doing wonder. I'll bring him in another area where it's not politics, and you understand why I always bring this man. I'm still, milking him so much into politics, but if I change tables to another area, you'll get surprised. Bwana Eddie Cool, just give us your parting shots on our topic of discussion, and then we'll call it a wrap.
No, thank you for the lively topic. It gives us to learn quite a lot, and then it emboldens us to build what we call capacity for ourselves. Countries that don't build nationalism, they are very vulnerable to anything. So leaders, it's my appeal to leaders that as they lead and they want to be dictators, let them think that anything can happen. They can be picked up. But the only shield that they have are the nationals. If nationals are behind you, nobody is going to pick you up. But if you terrorize your nationals, anybody will come and pick you up. So that is very, very key. It's very, very important. And by the way, to leaders and the fellow Ugandans, let's go into agriculture. We can have a life. Things have turned around, things have done so many things, but Uganda is an agricultural country. And if we develop agriculture, we sustain agriculture, we are going to sustain ourselves. We're going to make a lot of money. We're going to survive. We used to have coffee. We used to have cotton. Those granaries used to be there. Even right now, there's some other crops that we can come up with, which are cash crops. They give you a lot of money. My problem is our people are looking at doing the same things all the time. Bijanjalo, kasoli, maido, whatever, all the time. That is very okay for your consumption. But there are things that give you money. Go for apples. Go for strawberries. Go for those kind of, go for turmeric. Go for spices. You get a lot of money. And there are some of them, they can be even exported. And the exporting business of it, let's go organic. Not only for exportation, even for ourselves to eat, to be healthy. Let's try and do things in a healthy manner. And we set our own pace. If we did set our own pace of doing things organically, even in these other countries which may put their permits for this and that, they will copy ours and say, look here, these people are doing the right things. So they don't even need permits to give us their food. But we are putting up a problem. Whereas our fathers used to to do things to till the land, the old way, which is called the God's way. They never used to have those toxic substances. So let's support ourselves in those things, and let's try to educate each other about the good of living together as a nation. You know, let's educate each other, support each other about the good of living together as a nation. Because Uganda is a very rich country. It has always been. There's a lot of potential. We are very rich, but we have a class of very few people who are benefiting. And they are killing everything. Whereas the vast country is very rich. From everywhere, every circle. Even if we went to be, what is it called? Federal. That let every region deal itself. Yes. We would do very well. And we would grow very fast. Ugandans will not be looking for visas to go to other countries. Other countries will be looking for visas to come to Uganda. Because Ugandans will be happy. You know, today we are seeing what we are seeing into the politics. It's because Ugandans are not happy. The government has not done the things that it has meant to do. And I call upon Ugandans, go out in large numbers and vote. Change.
Yes, that said, from Eddie Cool, just also a little reminder from African Reports. This coming Saturday, we shall also flash back a little bit on the Euro tournament, which is coming on the 3rd, and from the 3rd to the 5th of June. It will be in Amsterdam. So we are going to have a little discussion, and we see its preparation and also a reflection on some highlights that really happened in Finland. And this coming Saturday, we shall be having Lady Jessica, those who are on the management, and then we shall also having Jude Kasangaki from Netherlands, so that we can also slice exactly what happens also into also that line of sports. But that said, I would love also to just appreciate people who are with us online day by day, or those who keep on subscribing with us, and those who make this discussion flow by engaging with your comments and giving us your opinions. So keep the discussion flow, and as you engage also others. But it has been a show, and I would love also to give a big thanks to my incredible guest, brother Eddie Cool, who is also always a call away, and then he spares his time in his busy schedule, and then to share some opinions. I will not say he's the best, but at least he shares. So you who claims to be the best also share your opinions, so that we can balance and then strike and make things really even. That's it. Allow me to say happy New Year once again. It has been a fast show, and on African Reports, I guess it's going to be a good ride when it comes to 2026. And I believe, keep engaging with us. Let us know where you're situated, any country of where you're stationed, so that we know how we can avail our services closer to you. That said, allow me to say good night. It has been a show. Those who are into situations which are not really, even those situations which are not appealing, in Luganda we say tewazali vocho, the next day you're going to be better. Today it's me, tomorrow you're going to be okay. Bye-bye for now. I've been your host, aka Smoggy John Remy, alongside my guest Eddie Kulungobi. We shall meet into a next episode, but for now we sign out. Goodbye.
Yakuyamba munange nakukwata ku mukono nakuyimsa yakuyamba baba nabako wakutuza era nzize kwebaza oba nkuyite kusiima eri abalina emitima egirumirirwa ekigambo okuyamba ndokizanyisa abangi babeera n'obusobozi n'ekibalema okukola eyakuyamba baba